What's up, guys? UFC 279 is finally gone, and man, it was a chaotic weekend for UFC fans. So, you guys just stay tuned. We're going to break it all down when we come back.
That is a which is fun, but you got to be ready for that. But it's not.
And welcome back to another episode of Fist First. I'm your host, Steve, along with your co-host, Slav.
What's up?
There he is, and we are streaming on DSM's YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So UFC 279, Slav, man. What a chaotic weekend for UFC fans.
Totally crazy. Everything changed in like 24 hours. I don't even know what was going on.
It's like we got a 2-day pay-per-view, Friday and Saturday, because there's just I never seen anything quite like this that has happened in the UFC before. So let's touch on that. Let's touch on that Friday night incident a little bit, and then we'll get back into that later in the show. But so Hamza Chimaev, right, was supposed to be the main event fight against Nate Diaz. So on Wednesday, during the weigh-ins, Wednesday or Thursday, whenever it was, Chimaev misses weight by 7.5 pounds. So he weighed 178.5. Welterweight weight limit is 171 with that 1 pound grace. And not only did he miss weight, he was caught the night before chowing down at a restaurant. Come Friday night, the press conference for UFC 279, Dana White gets on stage before it happens and has to cancel the press conference for everybody's safety. I can't think of another time, Slav, that a UFC press conference has been canceled in that kind of fashion.
No, not at all. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Even the Khabib McGregor, that wasn't canceled at all. That was a negative press conference, a lot of that, like talking. But this one, yeah, I was not expecting it to be canceled. I thought it would still go on. To be canceled like that, something really crazy had to happen backstage.
Right, so backstage beef. And the funny thing about this is it was between two guys that weren't even fighting against each other.
Yeah, I never even knew that Holland and Chimaev had beef at all. So I'm hearing these two names. I'm like, what's going on?
Right. So Hamza Chimaev gets in a little altercation with Kevin Holland, and I believe gives Kevin Holland a front kick right to the chest.
Oh, wow.
Backstage before the presser. That leads to Nate Diaz getting involved. Apparently, weapons were drawn, but if you watch the footage, the weapon was a water bottle. But yeah, altercation, presser gets canceled, and it shakes up not only that Friday night press conference, but that shakes up the entire card. If you could see the picture behind us, last week that those two main guys were Diaz and Chimaev. Obviously now they're Diaz and Ferguson because that was the UFC 279 main card, Diaz versus Ferguson. To settle that beef, the UFC moved Holland versus Chimaev as the co-main event, and then moved Jing Liang down to the third fight, taking on Daniel Rodriguez.
And you know what's the worst part about the cancellation of this press conference? Li Jingliang didn't get to show off his brand new suit.
Dude. And that suit was nice, dude.
Yeah, it was so nice. No one got to see it, so I feel bad for my man Lee. But
yeah, he was hyped up, ready to go, looking all flashy. Man, that's all right. We'll see that suit again.
Yeah, hopefully.
So, he's showing up to the next presser, balling out, yeah. So the prelims, before we get into the main card, let's I don't want to spend too much time on the prelims here. Just some notable ones. So last week we had mentioned Melissa Martinez, UFC debuter, 7-0 as a rookie. comes in, drops her first fight in the UFC by a unanimous decision, and that is to the U.S. military. Currently in the U.S. military, Elise Reed takes her down by unanimous decision. So it's a shame to see a UFC debut go wrong, especially a girl with a lot of hype built up.
Mhm.
I think we both actually selected her to win in the last show.
Yeah, I think we did.
And here's one that really surprised me in a different aspect. So Danielle Wolf taking on Nora Dumont. If you guys watched the last show, we had said Danielle Wolf, this is her second fight professionally, and it's in the UFC. But she is a U.S. gold medalist, not in the Olympics, but a national gold medalist in boxing. So we said if she can keep this fight standing, she has a chance, right?
Yeah, I thought she would do pretty good standing up, but it was the opposite.
Now, here's the interesting thing. Let me pull this up on the screen right here. So these stats are via ESPN's website. So we talked about if she can keep this fight standing up, she would have the advantage. But here's the funny thing. That second row there, that's total strikes. She got outstruck 99 to 44. A, a gold medalist boxer gets outstruck that bad in the UFC. I think that proves to me that the UFC is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, I also think she was just a little confused in the sport she is. And like,
Yeah.
I think yeah, during the fight, a lot of the announcers were saying, oh, she still thinks she's in boxing. Like, you can't be doing what she's doing, the way she moved, the way she tried to defend punches. Yeah, so I don't think she was used to MMA. And she didn't know how to change it up. And that
Right.
was the problem.
She kept her hands really high,
Yeah.
right? And that's evident by if you look a couple rows down with the leg kicks. Nora Dumont threw 20 leg kicks her way and landed on 12 of them. And that is a result of Danielle Wolf keeping her arms a little too high, not used to seeing those legs come in, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's something a lot of boxers probably struggle with coming into MMA. They're not
Big
used to kicks and all that.
And look at this too. This shows that Slav and I here know our stuff because what did we say last show? If Nora Dumont can take her to the ground, she wins this fight. Third row up from the bottom, 6 minutes and 41 seconds of ground control, gets the win via unanimous decision in Nora Dumont. And yeah, she Danielle Wolf looked like a fish out of water on the ground, and not only that, gets outstruck. She loses 0-1 in the UFC.
Yeah, we know our stuff, man. People just don't want to listen to
Yeah,
us. They're trying to be haters. But
I know, right?
we
Everybody...
know our stuff. We do our research.
Oh man, another fight here. Probably one of the better fights of the preliminary, if not the best fight of the preliminary. Jake Collier taking on Chris Barnett.
Great fight.
Wow,
I
Chris
told you,
Barnett.
man, them short guys, man, there's something about them. They got heart.
Yeah. Chris Barnett gets the KO, 224 into round 2.
I thought he was about to get knocked out.
He was done. He was done early.
I think his jaw was even broken or something. If you're watching the fight, he's just moving really weird.
His left eye was closed.
Yeah, I was like, no way this guy's winning. But dude came back, had his heart, and he had a great post-fight interview too. There's some dance moves.
He's the man.
Yeah, awesome dude. Definitely awesome, entertaining fighter. Love him.
Chugging 2 beers on his way out too.
Oh yeah,
man.
And he can dance for a big guy.
Oh, he can dance for a big guy. He can front flip.
Yeah, that was impressive. That was better than Michael Chandler's.
Yeah, right. Wow, yeah, Chris Barnett, man. He breaks Collier's streak of win-loss. So now Collier does have 2 losses in a row for the first time in his UFC career.
Didn't I say that?
You did, and
the streak ends.
You did say the streak ends. Look at that. Continuing with knowing our stuff over here.
Wow.
At fist first. All right, man. The main card. Main card. I was a fan. I'm not gonna lie. I think I was a fan of every fight.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't. It wasn't the best card in my opinion. I thought all the chaos and stuff kind of changed the fights. Uh, Lee was robbed. I didn't like that.
Oh, we'll get into that. Don't you worry
Yeah.
about that.
So yeah, it wasn't my
I had
favorite
money
card.
on Lee. I was robbed too. Oh man. So first fight
Yeah.
here, in the main card was Johnny Walker taking on Ion Cutelaba. And what did we say last week? Both these guys were desperate for a win.
Yeah.
One of these guys does come out with a victory, and that's Johnny Walker getting the win via submission, 423 in the round one. And, this was kind of surprising because a lot of this fight was spent on the ground.
hmm
Um,
What?
go.
So yeah, I think Johnny Walker did some research before the fight. He trained for the ground. Kuralaba, his last fight, he lost by submission as well in the first round. He's not really good on the ground. He has a good stand-up game, can knock people out, but on the ground, he's just awful. I think Johnny Walker knew that and took advantage of it. Took him to the ground. Look what happened.
Yeah.
So I like Kuralaba. He's an entertaining fighter, but just for the ground game, he needs some work on it. But yeah, good thing for Johnny Walker. He needed the win. He got it. I think he'll stay in the rankings. So
Yeah, you'll see him. He's trying to make one final push. I think he wants to fight in that UFC card down in Rio de Janeiro next year.
okay,
That'll be an awesome fight for him. Taking it back to his home country. And Walker was, we said Walker was desperate for a win here. But to be honest, I can't say I saw much improvement from him. He did dominate a lot of that fight on the ground, but going into this fight, he had said that he was training on his defense, on his Muay Thai, on his defense, and I didn't really see a lot of improvement in that regards.
yeah, I think we didn't get too much of a chance to see it. Unfortunately, I would like to see some more rounds going on to actually see if he improved. But I think maybe in the next fight we'll see. There's still some time he can improve on, but yeah, I think he did improve his ground game. So, well, I don't know about his defense and stand up, but his ground game definitely improved on. I think it was only his third submission in his career too. So
And that was a very big win for him.
yeah,
So kudos to him for working on that and finally getting that desperate win. Moving on along here, this Irene Aldana versus Macy Chiasson fight has a little bit of UFC history in this. So this past Saturday, we witnessed the first ever up kick to the body KO, and that comes by Irene Aldana, who, let me tell you, Irene Aldana, I had heavy going into this fight. She got dominated
yeah.
early on. I thought she was gone in the second round.
Yeah, I believe she actually won the first round, but towards I think the end of the first round or the beginning of the second, Chizan was putting up a great fight, just dominating.
I thought the ref was going to stop it.
Yeah, it was close. It was really close. Chizan was doing really good. She was like the underdog, and she put up a good fight. I thought she was going to win. I thought it was going to be a big upset, but that was kind of a freak. That was a free kick. I don't even know. I've never seen that before.
No, and
It's crazy.
That goes to show you just how crazy the UFC can be.
Yeah, I didn't even.
Winning-
No one even knew what happened when that kick happened.
Right.
Like,
Winning a fight on your back, laying down. Winning a fight on your back, laying down.
that doesn't happen often. And the only times I have seen it before, it was like Kevin Holland. He punched the dude and from the ground, knocked him out. But I've never seen a kick or a liver kick.
Liver
like
kick,
that.
yeah.
So that was insane. It was all fun to watch. It's the first time I've ever seen something like that. Might be the only time I ever see something like that too.
It very well could be.
Yeah.
So we get a little bit of UFC history in UFC 279. And a fight here that we talked about, or we sprinkled in a little bit earlier, and a fight that did not end in history, did not end in knockout. Li Jingliang taking on Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez. Rodriguez takes this one by split decision. But let me tell you, the judges and Dana White even agrees the judges messed this one up.
Yeah,
Li
totally.
Jingliang won this fight.
If I was a better man, I would not bet on UFC anymore after this.
Yeah, you know, taking that risk if it going to decision. I had,
Yeah.
you know, it's funny. I parlayed it. I had Jingliang by decision. And when that fight ended, I was like, give me my money. Give me my money. Right until Bruce Buffer announces Daniel Rodriguez's name. And I think my jaw dropped to the ground. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, this was one of the biggest robberies I've seen so far in recent memory. So I don't know how. I think even the crowd, when they said D-Rod won, everyone was stunned.
Oh, yeah.
So the fight wasn't that entertaining. It was, but it was a knockout. No one got knocked down. So it was definitely a close fight. It was both fighters were still kind of testing it out. It was kind of stalemate. But yeah, everyone thought Lee won. I think just because the fight wasn't as entertaining, I think they just called some BS and try to go with the other fighter, try to make it crazy. I don't know, but yeah, that's my prediction. Why they went with D-Rod, just try to make the fight a little more talked about because it wasn't.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe that, but I don't know, man. This is weird.
You know, a little theme here we got going on. I think the last two review shows or last two shows we talked about putting respect on people's name, right?
Yeah.
Put some respect on Li Jingliang's name, because we'll get into this a little bit later, but he deserves respect.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. I'm pretty sure when he came in July, he had a fight in Long Island. He stayed in America since then. His family's still in China, and he's been training here, staying away from his family. Hasn't gotten to see them. Just working, and for an outcome like that to happen, it's sad. It sucks, man. I feel really bad for him.
Yeah, it was definitely a shame to watch that.
Yeah. So I don't know how D-Rod didn't look that impressive to me.
No.
He didn't really have much going on.
And he's coming off over a year layoff too.
Yeah, he did kind of looked out of shape a bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he'll do in his next fight, but yeah, that was.
We'll see, man. I'm more excited for Jingliang's next fight.
Yeah, me too.
So the co-main event, this changed co-main event. Kevin Holland taking on Khamzat Chimaev. This was quick. This was short. This was sweet. Chimaev wins this one by submission, 2 minutes and 13 seconds into round one. And this, 2 minutes and 13 seconds. That's not a quick knockout or submission, but you blinked and this one was over because as soon as Chimaev took Holland to the ground, you knew it was over.
Yeah,
so you might as well score this a 5-second submission.
Yeah, he emptied the tank right away, and this was scary to see just how Chimaev dominated Holland. I was like, wow, he made Holland look like a beginner.
Yeah, Kevin Holland. We'll save that. I'll save this topic for a little later because I got something to say about that fight.
I mean, respect to Holland for taking the fight.
Oh, 100%.
I think if he did have more time to train wrestling and stuff and had better time to prepare for Chimaev, it might have been a little longer.
Oh,
it might have been better, but dude,
Kevin Holland could have trained for this fight all he wants. Kevin Holland's not winning that fight no matter how hard he trains. I'm sorry.
Chimaev is just insanely good.
He is.
I think, it was crazy to see that. I think he's moving up the middleweight after this, from what I heard. They want to fight middle fight in the next fight, so I can't see anyone in middleweight or welterweight, whatever weight class he's in, beating Chimaev. I think he's gonna have a long career in the UFC. Might be 2 division champ. We
will get into talks on Chimaev because I think we disagree on this, but I know we both have a lot to say about Chimaev's legacy, if you will, moving forward. So the main event changed main event, obviously. Nate Diaz taking on Tony Ferguson, and this was a stereotypical legends fight, I would say, a true
Yeah,
legends fight.
yeah. I think this fight definitely would have been better if they were both in their prime years. If this happened a few years ago, it would have been much better fight, in my opinion. I was a
But
little
that's not to say this wasn't entertaining.
yeah, definitely entertaining fight. I was just a little disappointed. Um, thought Tony could done a little better. Yeah, much going for him.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Tony looked like he was underprepared
Yeah, and
or trying to do something
his comp,
fancy.
yeah, his combos were very predictable. Kind of slow a bit. He didn't have much going for him besides the leg kicks,
A lot
and
of spinning and jumping.
just the way he got submitted. Like Diaz didn't really have to work for the submission at all. Like just
No.
grabbed his neck, took him to the ground, and fight was over. That was it.
And that's why I
Usually,
say this is like a legends fight. It was kind of just like for fun, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, definitely for fun fight, but I wish Tony best of luck. It's kind of sad to see him like that. Yeah, I don't. I think that should be his last fight.
We'll see. But yeah, Nate Diaz does take this one by submission. And let me tell you, thank you, Nate Diaz, because I parlayed Diaz by submission going into that fight. And I thought there was no chance of it because there was no groundwork until
Yeah,
Tony Ferguson tried to take him down.
yeah,
And that
zero
was
groundwork.
Ferguson's mistake. Yeah, it was all
Yeah,
stand up. I was like, oh, Diaz is probably still going to win this, but I need a submission too. And it
and
happened. And
yeah,
man, that netted me some nice cash there.
and what was interesting about that fight was the post fight interview with Diaz saying he might go into boxing. He's calling out Conor McGregor, kind of. People
Dude,
are saying he might box Conor McGregor when they fight their third time.
I think Jake Paul's next for him.
Yes, I don't know, but I hope he gets that money. I think he deserves it. So I
Yeah.
wish him the best of luck for
Even
whatever
Dana
he
White
does.
said, Dana White said if Nate Diaz doesn't come back to the UFC, this is still his house.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome career. What a phenomenal send off for Nate Diaz. I'm not gonna lie, it brought me to tears a little bit, but yeah, no, it was very very awesome ending to a legend's career in the UFC. So let's get into this new little segment we have going on here. I don't know what we want to call it yet. Kind of just discussions. I was thinking about calling it Octagon Opinions. I think that's a little cheesy, so we'll stick with discussions for now. But basically, what I'm going to do, Slav Fury, I'm going to throw you a question, and yeah, let's get you and my opinion on the question.
Sounds good.
So, like we said, Li Jingliang, um, you know, got robbed. So, do you think this was he was the most disrespected fighter on the card, and maybe one of the most disrespected UFC fighters in general this card, just because of what happened to him?
Definitely. The man didn't get to show off his suit because somebody wanted to act like a fool, get the press conference canceled. And then clearly this guy won and they robbed him.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more disrespectful it could get.
So let's break it down here. UFC press conference gets canceled. Doesn't get to show off his fancy suit. The night before the fight, he loses the co-main event opportunity to fight a UFC legend.
Yeah, he did all that weight cutting. He was at 170 when fighting D-Rod. It's
All
crazy.
that work. All that work.
Yeah, literally been here in America for months, not seeing his family.
Right.
Yeah, going through that weight cut, and he does so good in the fight. He looks so good, so confident. I thought he won. And yeah, they gave it to D-Rod.
Yeah, so no suit, no co-main event. Fights a guy 10 pounds heavier than he is. Clearly, I think clearly won the fight.
Yeah,
So yeah, what a disrespect and what a robbery of Li Jingliang.
yeah,
But like I said, I think he gained a lot of the UFC community's respect.
yeah. I think he did. I think a lot of people are going to root for him in his next fight. He's definitely a great fighter. I think he's got a lot left. And this ain't going to stop him. But
Yeah, and
it sucks.
I think it's safe to say he gained 2 fans at least in us, right?
Yes, sir. He did.
That's what I like to hear. So now for a topic here that I think we're going to disagree on a little bit. So, did Khamzat Chimaev deserve to fight on this card?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he's just too good. He brings a lot of views. He's very entertaining. I can't give him a pass with everything that happened. I didn't think he took the weight cut seriously, and that's why I don't think he cared about this fight that much because it's Diaz. It wasn't a title fight. If he wins, it's not really gonna help him get a title. Like he's already gonna get a title fight regardless. So I don't think he cared about this. But yeah, I kind of give him a pass for everything that happened, just because he's just so good, very fun to watch, has a lot of people wanting to see him fight. So yeah, I think he deserved to still fight.
And that's the thing, right? If he's not a moneymaker for the UFC, if he didn't have as many fans as he did, let's be real, he would have got taken out of this card.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like he significantly missed weight, and was publicly caught the night before chowing down.
Yeah, so you can't act like that if you don't have a large fan base. This is kind of like privilege.
And
large
we're talking
fan base
about
privilege.
We're talking about the UFC who stripped Charles Oliveira of his belt by missing weight by what was it? A half a pound, I think it was.
Half a pound, yeah, crazy.
Lost his championship belt. Half a pound overweight. Chimaev was 7.5 pounds overweight. Not only that, he's the one that started the altercation backstage to get the press conference canceled. So, we'll get into this too, but I was a Chimaev fan. And I'm not going to lie.
I think everyone was. Everyone, the fight months earlier, everyone was cheering for Chimaev.
Exactly.
Everyone loved it.
I mean, I was cheering for Diaz in this fight, but outside of this fight, I was a Chimaev fan.
Yeah, he's crazy. I've never seen anything like him.
That kind of leads me into my next question here. So we talk about him significantly missing weight. What are the odds that you think Chimaev misses weight here on purpose? Because, like I said, he was caught the night before weigh-in, chowing down, drinking a crap ton of water in a restaurant.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't think he took this Nate Diaz fight seriously. It wasn't a title fight. If he wins, it's not bringing him really any closer. He's already going to get the title fight. He won't have lost. No way. But yeah, I just didn't think he took the fight seriously. I don't think he was afraid of Diaz or anything like that.
That point kind of leads me into my argument here is, so he's not scared of Diaz, right? And I'll be real with you. If that fight happened, Diaz would have lost.
Yeah,
Chimaev would not have lost that fight.
100%.
Right. So why? Kevin Holland's not going to help you do that. Kevin Holland's not going to propel your career. I think taking down a UFC legend will, even though he would steamroll him. Taking down Nate Diaz could propel your career more than Holland.
Yeah,
right?
I think Chimaev just didn't want to kill himself cutting weight for Nate Diaz.
Yeah, and apparently there was medical complications. I don't know.
I think if this was a title fight, he might have still cut the weight. But I think since it wasn't a title fight, I think he was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not going to cut this weight and almost kill myself.
And for welterweight fights, he's missed weight. Not missed weight, but he had to use that 1 pound grace in every fight except for one. He weighed in at 171 for every welterweight fight except for
think
one.
he should just move up to middleweight. He's too big for welterweight. He can definitely dominate welterweight if he can get down to that weight, but it's clearly a struggle for him. So,
and
we want to see the best Chimaev. He's got to be at middleweight.
Earlier, you had said Chimaev would roll through the welterweight division. Now, here's the thing. I'm not a biggest fan of Kamaru Usman,
Mm-hmm.
and you can quote me here. Hamzat Chimaev does not beat Kamaru Usman because Hamzat Chimaev does not take Kamaru Usman down, and Hamzat Chimaev is not the best striker. He got outstruck significantly by Gilbert Burns. Outstruck significantly by Gilbert Burns. And everybody knows Kamaru Usman's takedown defense is not 100% anymore, but I think it's sitting at like 98%.
Yeah.
If Chimaev doesn't get that fight to the ground, Kamaru Usman is beating him.
I
I don't think that's a fight we'll ever see, but
I think Chimaev, though, he would have found a way to take Usman down. I just think it's kind of, you can't stop Chimaev. That's how good he is. I don't think anyone can stop him, in my opinion.
So, and I'm not disrespecting his skill, right?
Yeah.
Chimaev's skill, I can't argue against because it is there. Is his striking skill there? Yeah, he got outstruck by Gilbert Burns significantly, but his striking skill is there. But he's predominantly a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And so, last question here, Chimaev, he lost respect for me. Do you think he lost the respect of a majority of the UFC fans, or do you think? Good.
I think he did. Not only was it the weight cut, but in the fight, Kevin Holland went for the high five, and Chimaev just went for the takedown. So that was dirty.
Oh, it's so dirty.
I didn't care about the weight that much. I thought, like he was just not taking it serious. Like he doesn't care. But to do that to a fighter, I've never seen that before. That was really disrespectful.
It was a dirty move.
Yeah, it was a dirty move. So I kind of lost respect on that. Like with the weight cut and everything, I think he just gets a pass because like how popular it is, how good. But yeah, I think you combine that and the dirty move, you're gonna lose some respect.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, Holland could train all he wants. He wasn't beating Chimaev.
Yeah.
But if Holland did get the chance to train, he's not winning that. Chimaev's not winning that easily.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to think, right? Kevin Holland was preparing for weeks, preparing for Daniel Rodriguez, who's predominantly a striker. And then just like that, the night before, he gets a predominant wrestler.
Yeah.
Chimaev pulls the cheap move, takes Holland to the ground. And to me, it's a coward move on Chimaev's part because you got this beef. Settle the beef for real. Throw them hands. Settle that beef for real, dude. Don't pull a move like that. Come on.
Yeah, I definitely give respect for Holland for still going in there, giving his best. I think, this is going to help Holland gain a lot more fans. He's already a liked fighter. I don't know anyone that hates Holland, to be honest. And
I think he's seen a lot of respect for taking that fight.
This helps Holland. People would like him even more. So, yeah.
So to end our show off here, I pulled up on the screen is our UFC draft for September. I don't know how you want to score this, just because of all the, mix arounds.
Yeah.
But if we were to keep them, that is the score right now. I had Diaz submission, Almeida submission. Both of those happened. I had Collier by decision. That did not happen, so I got that one completely wrong. I feel like it's not fair for me to score yours because Jing Liang won that fight by decision. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So how about this? To make it fair, I'll give you, even though it didn't happen, I'll give you Jing Liang by decision, and I'll give you those full 3 points instead of 1.
Okay.
And then that will put you up to 10 points in September with my 9. And that is going to continue into our Wednesday show when we sit here and we preview UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Yadong. And that is taking place Wednesday. So UFC 279 is in the cards. I think it was a chaotic weekend here for UFC fans. But a weekend that I don't think a lot of UFC fans will ever forget.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely a memorable weekend.
So yeah, if you guys liked our show, hope you did. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, or follow button, and stay tuned for our Wednesday show when we preview Sandhagen and Yadong. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday.